Hi, everyone. My name's Sebi Medina Tayak, and I'm a member of the Piscataway Indian Nation. We're the indigenous people of what is now called Maryland and Washington, D.C., and I wanted to acknowledge that we are on these ancestral homelands and give everybody a warm welcome to these lands from those who have come from very far away and those who wake up and move through these lands every day. Welcome. It's important to orient this conversation around indigenous people because our connection to the land and the ancestral legacy of the ecologies of the all the lands on this globe are the only hope of a better climate future. Um, I was hanging out with my friend Dallas yesterday, and he was telling me that we couldn't just fight to fight. We had to envision what a win would look like. And it's hard to get excited about any future that doesn't involve some sort of return and acknowledgement of indigenous ways of life. So I'm really inspired to be here among fellow young people. I've been organizing with 0 Hour since they started and their first march in DC. And, our role here as Piscataways, we don't have a big reservation or a casino or anything like that. But if anyone has land on Connecticut Avenue, I'd be happy to discuss a land reclamation project. But what we do offer is hospitality, shelter, and support for all people of conscience and indigenous people who come through. And I was so excited to hear that Greta would be here. And where's she at? What's up? Hey, what's up? So we also wanted to give a welcome to Greta for being here. It's very special that she made it a long way. So I wanted to end on one last thing because, like I said, a lot of indigenous people come through these lands and have for many, many years. And the latest group of indigenous people that I got to hang out with were a couple Samis. And they had a lot of interesting things to teach me about what it's like to be indigenous in Europe. And it's a narrative that we don't hear a lot about. We hear about Maoris, we hear about American Indians, we hear about people in the Amazon, we hear about people in Africa, but we don't hear about indigenous people in Scandinavia, or what is now called Scandinavia. And I just wanted to use this moment to uplift a message that they have for us. My friend Biaska Nila says, today the young reindeer herder Jofset Ante Sara has part of his herd in the corral. The colonial government of Norway has threatened to slaughter a big part of his herd by force because he won't comply with their ruling to reduce his stock. The ruling is very problematic in so many levels, and they have not any scientific, moral, or other excuses to force a young man out of his traditional indigenous way of life. This is pure colonialism. So today I go to the corral and will try to stop the government by any means necessary if they dare to come for his reindeer. If they do come, I call upon all sisters and brothers for support, and those who are able to come, stop the government. Stay tuned. So it's very important that we acknowledge that indigenous ways of life are the salvation of this world. And we need to uplift these people, especially young indigenous people who are fighting to live these sustainable lifestyles. And I hope that the team from Europe and all of you will stay attuned to what's going on to the Sami people in Scandinavia. Thank you all for inviting me and giving me the platform to share this message, and it's an honor to be here.
Hey, so if we could get Calvin to come to the front.
I've never been to a strike like this. This is incredible. I started striking on December 7th last year. There were only 2 locations in the United States. And now as we're coming up to September 20th, we're looking at almost around 800, 900, which is just incredible. When my first striker, Zane Cowie, can't be here today, but he's striking in New York City, so everyone give him a round of applause. It has been such an honor to watch the movement here in the U.S. grow from just 2 strikers to then 6 to over 100 locations and now almost 1,000. And I am so happy to be standing here today with all of you. It is just an incredible honor. All the youth we'll be introducing today will be representing thousands, if not millions, of kids that are doing this all over the world, just like us. And as we talk, remember that this is not a one-time action. Today is a big splash, but we will be here week after week demanding action. And I encourage you to come out there with us. Woo! So, all right. All right then.
Thank you.
That was really nice. Could you please stand in front of the mic podium? The mic stand, sorry. Thank you. Slide back. Scoot back.
So, my name is Jerome Foster II. I'm the White House. I've been striking at the White House for about 14 weeks now, and today I want to call to action and say that young people around the world are not striking for pity. They're not striking for forgiveness. They're not striking for any other reason. We're striking to demand action because we don't want change, but we need change. We need global change. Because if we look around the world, we're seeing natural disasters happening on every corner of the planet, from the Bahamas and the hurricanes there, from Central America to the droughts that are happening there, and also in the Middle East where droughts are happening. And also around the world, we're seeing entire communities being decimated by the climate crisis. But we're all acting as if nothing is happening. That's why we strike here today. That's why we strike here every single Friday, to say that world governments must have the moral clarity, they must have the political courage, and they must be willing to work internationally to solve this crisis, because that's what this crisis demands. We come here to say that today was the best. We stand here today to say yesterday was the best day to take action. Today might be okay, but tomorrow is too late. And that's what we're saying today, is that today is the day for action to be taken. Today is the day that youth around the world mobilize to say that enough is enough, and that our future will not continue to be burned, that our future will not be continued to be taken away, that our future is a right, that clean air, clean water, and a livable future is a right. And that's what our government must understand. And that's what world governments must understand, that the economic systems of today will not work for the climate of tomorrow. And that's what we're saying, is that we must have a call to action, that our economic system must reflect not growth but equitable development around the world. We stand with communities around the world, from indigenous people to black and brown people, from men to women, no matter your sexual orientation, your age, your gender, anything that you're fighting for. We are united in this crisis, because if we're united in crisis, we must be united in our advocacy, we must be united in our activism, and we must be united in our solutions. And that's why we're here today, to say that today is the last day where politicians will continue to ignore the youth of the world, because the youth are standing up. Rise up! Yeah! Welcome to the Fridays for Future movement, and this is the White House climate strike. Thank you.
So, a little bit about logistics. If you are a youth organizer of this event, I need you to take the banner and move over there. If you are not, I need you to stay here for a minute and get ready to line up so that we can march to the other side of the ellipse.
What I wanted to do is, if you have people running,
Still so long. You did such a good job.
Right here, but it doesn't have the best to get over there. Plus the line. Betsy, we're stepping over.
I don't know where he is.
Yes, I'm sure she's. Yes, guys.
You two can see it.
They just said it like mine. Out, that's the footprint. Watch out for the cord. Watch out for the cord, Tay. Hardly, look down. Watch out for the cord. Carly and Tay, I'm not sure where you two are going. Go stand over there, please, away from the cord. Watch out, Martha.
Bill?
Carly and Tay, come over here. On the stairs, please, somewhere.
One thing you get shots.
Everything is yours. Please, can you just let them get in place? Please. I promise you will get photos, but you are not stopping this.
Please back up so they can have
Y'all,
space.
I need everyone to
Please
stop
back up so
right
they can
now
have space,
and hold
please.
back this way. Please. Please step away from the road.
Can we bring the rope over here?
Brenda, we need guys. Hey,
Got it. Note to self.
Oh yeah.
that way.
We are walking on the sidewalk, yo.
Y'all are making this extremely difficult.
We need to get towards the sidewalk.
Otherwise, the march can't happen. Y'all gotta move,
Okay, hey, everyone, move out of the way now.
Seriously, guys. Here, you guys stay on my left. Stay on my left. We need to go this way. This way. Y'all, we're coming right at you.
Going this way, guys.
If everybody stops and holds in place, we will be able to do this march. But if you all keep moving, we cannot.
Back towards the sidewalk. Yes, they're moving towards the sidewalk right now. They can't get there unless y'all go.
The March for Life people manage to do this every year.
We're going towards the sidewalk, y'all. We're going that way.
Towards the sidewalk.
Everybody move on the sidewalk.
Marching on the sidewalk, but we need
I
y'all
need
to
you all
move
to
so
take
we
a
can
big
get
step
there.
back. That way, we need to get the kids in right here.
March is coming onto the sidewalk. Please let them onto the sidewalk.
We need you to please go back. Is it? Okay. So, got it. Got it. There you go. There we go.
Let's hold right here. Let's hold right here. Let's turn around. Let's turn around.
No, you can't have anything right now because we need to get into place.
Come on over here.
That is absolutely not going to happen. Get away from me now.
Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
That is the creepiest offer I've ever heard. Just go away.
Fucking okay. Alright, we're good. We're gonna keep moving now.
We got it.
Alright, we're gonna keep
Okay,
moving now.
everyone, please step back. Back. We need the youth on the sidewalk for this march.
Steps back, please. 2 steps back.
We need y'all to move back.
Now.
Seriously.
If you are a member of the media, please come. Say hi.
Straighten it out, straighten it out. Natalie, right here. Hold it here. We got it, girl. We got it. All right, awesome.
You're a youth. Come around.
All right, media that way. Media that way. Perfect. Let's get on.
Woo!
That was.
Okay, everyone take a breath.
Yay!
Yeah! Here we go. Let's do this. March to the Capitol! White House.
Okay, and Ethan, do you want to get Greta on the banner with y'all? Okay, cool.
Hey, group.
Okay, are y'all ready to march?
All right, who's got
All right. No, she's where she wants to be. Everyone in the media, please take steps backwards. Hold for a second. Where are we marching to? We are marching around the ellipse.
Okay, let's get the line a little tighter and move people back.
Sure, you need to. I'm sorry. You need to get back. We need the youth in front. All right, folks, we're gonna have to start moving. So get ready to not trample each other walking backwards, okay? All right, let's go.
All right, they're walking. Hey, wait a minute, because there's lots of big.
I'm down to march now. I'm ready to march. Yeah, I'm ready. Wait, should I just put this down? What time? It's like 11, 10, I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
it's almost 12.
Yes. Yeah. We were there. Yes.
CBF,
Yeah.
protest.
Yeah.
Is she here today?
Yeah. She's here.
Where's
It's a knockoff.
There's no way this is not 640,000.
You get a Versace.
Yeah, get the Versace.
So are you doing
Trying to push that. Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Planeteer, that's what it is. It's installed LEDs, so it'll cost you half.
Nobody on the other side. No camera. We'll never be divided. United. 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 We'll never be divided.
Okay, so you all are going to lead the march. Are you ready? Are you ready to lead the march? Number one trick to lead a march is to march slow and to chant and sing loud. Okay? You all good with that? Good? Okay, let's do it. Okay?
No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil.
No more coal.
No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. Go back. 10 feet back. Get out of the way and walk back.
We can't stick the banner out all the way.
Okay. We got to stretch the banner out so we move back just a little bit for folks who are next to the rope. We're just going to move back a little bit so they can put their banner out. You're still going to be super close.
Our future. Protect 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 our future. No, we need to stay on the sidewalk. Protect our future.
On the sidewalk.
Protect our future. Our future. Protect 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 our future. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
She's like holding the line.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
I feel contained.
This is what democracy looks like.
Everyone doing it.
This is what democracy looks like.
There's a big row.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Like two chants. Like, hey, hey. Oh, no more oil.
No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal. No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal. No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal. No more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil.
No more coal.
We'll never be divided. United. We'll never be divided.
The youth united.
We'll never be divided. United. We'll never be divided. United. We'll never be divided. United. We'll never be divided. United.
We'll never be divided. The youth united will never be divided.
Rising, so are we.
Can get further down. If everyone marching could just take a pause real quick so we can get the press line to go further down, please. Thank you.
Yeah, the press piece.
Press is so important.
They're so like, they're stopping us. The publicity is good, but also But like, still. I have to be back by a certain time today. I have an hour meeting.
Right behind them.
Hey, Maddie.
Excuse me.
His grandkids used to go actually.
Are we going until?
Thank you all for joining us today. I've never been to a strike like this. This is incredible. I started striking on December 7th last year. There were only 2 locations in the United States. And now as we're coming up to September 20th, we're looking at almost around 800, 900, which is just incredible. When I am my first striker, Zane Cowie, can't be here today, but he's striking in New York City, so everyone give him a round of applause. It has been such an honor to watch the movement here in the U.S. grow from just 2 strikers to then 6 to over 100 locations and now almost 1,000. And I am so happy to be standing here today. All of you, it is just an incredible honor. All the youth we'll be introducing today will be representing thousands, if not millions of kids that are doing this all over the world just like us. And as we talk, remember that this is not a one-time action. Today is a big splash, but we will be here week after week demanding action. And I encourage you to come out there with us. Woo! So, great. All right then.
So, my name is Jerome Foster II. I'm the White House. I've been striking at the White House for about 14 weeks now, and today I want to call to action and say that young people around the world are not striking for pity. They're not striking for forgiveness. They're not striking for any other reason. We're striking to demand action because we don't want change, but we need change. We need global change. Because if we look around the world, we're seeing natural disasters happening in every corner of the planet. From the Bahamas and the hurricanes there, from Central America to droughts that are happening there, and also in the Middle East where droughts are happening. And also around the world, we're seeing entire communities being decimated by the climate crisis. We're all acting as if nothing is happening. That's why we strike here today. That's why we strike here every single Friday, to say that world governments must have the moral clarity, they must have the political courage, and they must be willing to work internationally to solve this crisis, because that's what this crisis demands. We come here to say that today was the best. We stand here today to say yesterday was the best day to take action. Today might be okay, but tomorrow is too late. And that's what we're saying today, is that today is the day for action to be taken. Today is the day that youth around the world mobilize to say that enough is enough, and that our future will not continue to be burned, that our future will not be continued to be taken away, that our future is a right, that clean air, clean water, and a livable future is a right. And that's what our government must understand. And that's what world governments must understand. That the economic systems of today will not work for the climate of tomorrow. And that's what we're saying, is that we must have a call to action. That our economic system must reflect not growth, but equitable development around the world. We stand with communities around the world, from indigenous people to black and brown people, from women, men to women, no matter your sexual orientation, your age, your gender, anything that you're fighting for. We are united in this crisis. Because if we're united in crisis, we must be united in our advocacy. We must be united in our activism. And we must be united in our solution. And that's why we're here today, to say that today is the last day where politicians will continue to ignore the youth of the world. Because the youth are standing up. Rise up! Yeah! Welcome to the Fridays for Future movement. And this is the White House climate strike. Thank you.
So, a little.
Behind the sign, as we continue to march. Yeah, so I'm gonna repeat it one more time. So once we continue to march, we also want everyone to file behind the sign because the road is gonna get a lot thinner.
I wonder. So, as you guys march forward, these folks will all come in behind you, okay? Fresh going forward. And then let the kids go in the front. They're short. Somebody needs to come in front. Somebody needs to march. It's easier if the banner's in front. So, moms, I appreciate you. The kids are in the back. I understand, but we have. I'm telling you, do you want to have a mom fight right now, or can we march? Okay, let's do it. So, march forward. You all keep marching. Let's do it. Up here.
Yeah, slow down, slow down.
Okay, touch it out now.
Got what? All right, straight.
Spread out over here a little bit.
Good job, good job.
Come on up.
That mom was Sorry. You have to slow down. Slow down.
Not march so fast because we're gonna trip. I want to bust it. Nope.
Okay, ready?
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, but we are gonna move, and then they will move. People tell them to move when they're moving.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
We need to move or we're never going to move. Take it to the street! Take it to the pole! Take it to the street! Take it to the pole! Take it to the street! Take it to the pole! Take it to the street! Take it to the pole!
Media, back up! Back up, media! Back up! More!
It's a narrow sidewalk. We've been trying to get
That guy!
Yeah, folks on the back, just make sure we don't hit it.
Guys, we gotta keep marching. Keep it marching.
I'm about to go standing rock on y'all. Oh my god.
I want to see what we just keep them marching.
Come on, guys. Keep marching. Keep marching.
You got this. I got it.
Perfect. Nice job.
Nice.
Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Because we never asked her. I think Jamie
Money. You can't drink oil. You can't breathe 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 money. You can't drink oil.
Y'all, there's a big gap. There's another group back there.
We have to keep moving or we're gonna never get there. Is the biggest issue. Another big group behind us.
I guess they're just separated as we.
Oh, okay, got it. They're just stopped over there. They're doing something else, so it's fine. Well, then we can open up the wall, the whole rest of it, so we can open this up now. We can open this up.
2, 4, 6, 8. Say the earth is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the earth is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8. Say the world is not too late. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Get it back.
What do we want?
That's fine. We'll deal with
When
her.
do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
It's
When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate action. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate action. When do we want it?
Now.
You all are doing amazing.
Everywhere we go. People want to know.
People want to know.
So we tell them.
So we tell them.
We are the movement.
We are the movement.
The mighty, mighty movement.
The mighty, mighty movement.
The youth climate movement.
Youth climate movement.
Oh yeah, thanks.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Sorry.
Are you okay?
Divest! Divest! Put fossil fuels to rest! 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 Divest! Divest! Put fossil fuels to rest!
All these fences are very annoying.
Yeah, there's another fence, everybody, so pass it on. We gotta squeeze onto the
Let's just
sidewalk.
keep them on the sidewalk so you don't have to keep pushing and contracting. It's not a...
The road's getting nearer. The road's getting more near, so we have to thin out a little bit more.
You all are doing great. Yay. Super pro march leaders. I love it. Amazing.
Sorry. Okay, you guys want to get up with the other folks who are marching behind the banner?
Can you guys all get behind the banner, please?
We need the banner for this march.
Aww.
Cool. Great job, you guys.
Great job.
Just like my entire soul. It's a lot of, I mean,
Everyone suck in your stomachs.
get real cozy.
About intimacy. That's right.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey.
Okay, do you want to join in?
Yeah, you want to just let us pass it for a little bit and get him behind the front row?
Thank you. Okay. All right, let's keep marching.
All right, turn up! Turn up!
Fossil fuels are up.
Yes,
Turn up, turn up. Time to change, time to go.
I said, ooh, it's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. I said, ooh, it's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. I said, ooh, it's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. I said, ooh, it's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. It's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. It's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. It's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. It's getting hot in here because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere.
United will never be divided. The youth
United will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided. The youth united will never be divided.
Why are you letting the rope get under your gut like that? Sometimes it's really uncomfortable. Yeah, that looks really uncomfortable. It's dragging you along. Like if like I would get tired of that eventually.
Whose wealth?
Of that?
Whose life? Our life. Whose future?
Our future.
Whose future?
Our future. Show me what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
Oh yeah. I can't hear you. I can't. Oh yeah. I can't hear you. Get louder.
Thank you.
Someone talk to you from his office. I said get louder. That's the youth voice for you right there.
Okay. I'm just stepping on all their toes and wishing I had heels on today. Crushing
People over profit.
Somebody was
People over profit. 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 People over profit.
Yeah, I got the crib stuff into my room.
Everyone
said she was going to get the park police there. I said, that's fine, we'll deal with them. Yeah, that's fine. Just keep going, people. Over there. You're very close.
We're almost there, y'all.
Almost there. Yes. Woo!
People over profit. People over profit.
People over profit. People over profit. People over profit.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. Unite behind the science. 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 Unite behind the science.
Like 5 more days. And then you're old.
Yeah. The bones
No, I
start
have no
cracking.
idea.
There was the might. Now democracy unite. There was the might. We're about to march right into this area, and you're going to come right here. So if you all can get to the edges as much as possible, please. Thank you.
So they're gonna speak here.
Yeah, right here.
So yeah, right?
I don't want to get squashed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're literally like right. So you're like, you want to get over there.
Go over here.
Hey, Sam. Right up here. And then everyone else is just going to filter in. Let's get them right here. So we're going to get all the youth right in here. Okay?
I'm really sorry, but you need to move out that way because the marchers are coming right in here. Thank you.
So we need everyone to be right here, so we can turn the signs to be around here.
Hey guys, we're turning the sign, so please stay
We're going to need
behind.
to let them in, so let's just raise this up.
The marchers are coming to you right here. So I need to
You can do whatever you want, but this is where you need to be.
You guys are doing amazing.
Okay, I want to say like,
United will never be divided. The youth 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 united will never be divided.
we need the ropes.
United will never be divided.
Sorry, the press is gonna.
Never be divided. United will never be divided.
Can you just move back? Thank you.
Are we doing the diet?
Just keep going down.
Attention everybody, this is going to be our stopping point. Right now, as of now, we're going to conduct a dying, which is where we get on the ground in solidarity for 11 minutes to represent the 11 years we have left to take action on the climate crisis. We're going to start this action in just 1 second, so please stand by.
I'm gonna get on this side.
Can you keep
Get on this
pushing
side
the
and push
line
back.
back? Alright, we're gonna need some.
Everyone, we need to squeeze back as much as possible.
One step back, everybody!
If you are above the age of 24, take one step back no matter where you are. On the other side of the rope, please.
If you've taken a step back, maybe take another.
If you are a member of the
Probably
media,
another.
please step back.
Take another big step back. Take a step back.
Take another big step back.
You're good. You're good. You're supposed to be up there. Sorry, it's like a complicated jump rope situation.
There we go, youth. There we go.
Oh my God. You all are doing amazing.
You look refreshed, hydrated.
Can everyone in the media take one more step back?
There's the fence. We can't.
No,
We can't. You all, there's a fence. There's a fence. They literally can't.
There's a fence!
Thank you, Kelly.
Literally can't move back anymore.
Alright everyone, so it's a little past 11:58, or as we call it, 2 minutes to midnight. That is of course a reference to the doomsday clock done by the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do an 11-minute mass extinction, or as it's otherwise known, a die-in. So, when I say go, we're all going to lay down and wait for 11 minutes to represent the 11 years that we have left. So go!
Are you ready? We're gonna sit down. I got you. We can't really lay down, so we'll sit down.
Can everyone try to spread it this way?
Young people can come to the front. There's more space over here. We're gonna sit down, okay? Don't worry, I got you.
If you can't lay down, it's alright to sit too. We are limited in the amount of space we have, so sitting down works as well.
Wait, can I get the bowl?
Everyone scoot down. Thank you so much.
Ready? We're gonna scoot.
More? Can you tell me if it's...
It's okay, I got it.
Here, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a top.
Here, I got it. Here, you can have it.
Are you Swedish? That's so cool. Yeah, we're sitting. You're the highest one.
Here's the battery.
As long as I don't, I'm following this guy. I'm doing a doc on him. So I just need. I got pushed out in the last one.
Okay, everyone, we're about to start the timer. We're about to start the 11-minute timer. In 3, 2, 1.
Do you want to? Not good. Want to know something cool? I do circus.
I don't know why I'm
Really?
They have to do what? They have to walk all the way around.
So, can we have everyone like sit down? Okay.
Can we have everyone squish and sit down, please? We don't have a lot of space, but we want to be able to see the amazing people who are going to be speaking. So can we squish and sit down? Thank you.
So first off, we'll be having Nadia Nazar, who's the co-founder of 0 Hour.
Tell me when I'm ready. We can all move over a little bit so more people can go. No, then get people to come across.
Can some people over here come to here? We have some space over here if everyone can scoot down a little.
Well, everybody, we're all here for the same purpose of supporting these youth, right? That's more important than anything. So y'all need to take a chill pill and figure your shit out. What have people over there?
Okay, also, let's remember that y'all aren't marshals, right? And you're not supposed to be here in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So
I really need y'all to have some respect right now.
Yeah. So can we? I'm gonna get some more marshals. Hey y'all, we need y'all to push back.
Are you guys able to take a step back? Can you guys back up? There's room to squish. There's room to squish. We all squish.
Y'all need to step back.
Thank you all so much.
Step back. Go back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. We know it's a tight fit. Things we go through to solve the climate crisis.
You like come?
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
How long that's
Well, the happening is like, I'm just following Jerome doing a doc on him.
Hey, Sophia!
Yeah?
Hey,
Hey,
good
someone
doing,
over there
man.
told me to tell you that people should sit down. So I don't know if that just means here or where, but just
You just arrived.
Kind of cutesy hostile.
I think we're squished. Speakers said 2 unless I'm
Yeah.
Where do you guys park?
So there's a lot of people back there who are not youth. I see very many with old women.
Whoever's speaking, make sure they're using a megaphone so the reporters don't have to put their mic so they can get good audio, please. Megaphone. Trying to help you guys. I appreciate it.
That sounds anxiety.
Is she coming?
I don't know if she's gonna be here. So that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they might be trying to get her.
If everyone over there can sit down as well, if everyone can take a seat. There's no space.
I need some rope to swing. Okay.
There's still some room on this side.
There's still some room on this side if anyone from there wants to come over here.
If you're holding,
Make a pass, make a pass.
it's like tight. We can't hold it down.
Come from this side.
Okay.
What?
We're trying to get more of the rope down. We need more rope.
More rope this way, more rope to the right.
There we go. Someone just holding on to it. There we go.
This side. tell the adults to move in front of the White House.
Yeah, maybe just telling the adults who are over there to not.
Do y'all know how to do mic so much stuff?
Adults, if you could sit down or move out of the way, that would be greatly appreciated.
Adults, if you're sitting right here, we want you to move to the side, please, so that kids can be in front of the White House. We really want to be youth in the spotlight. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you all. Thank you.
So once again, our first speaker here will be Nadia Nazar, who is a co-founder and co-art director for 0 Hour.
Hi everyone, my name is Nadia Nazar. I'm 17 years old. I'm an artist and climate activist. I am a founder of the youth-led climate organization known as 0 Hour. I'm also the co-executive and art director of 0 Hour. We say that this is 0 Hour to act on climate change because we have no time left. We need to take the time that we have and the little sliver of hope that we have left to take action and urge our elected officials to take action and to hold corporations accountable. Both of my parents were born and raised in Kerala, India. And last year there was a terrible flood. And there are monsoon rains every single year in Kerala and India. But this year and last year it was absolutely devastating. Hundreds and hundreds of people lost their homes. Hundreds and hundreds of people died and got injuries. And many of these people were low-income people in the communities. And another thing that shocked me was that I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and there was flooding in Ellicott City, Maryland, and throughout Maryland. So to see that there was flooding across the world in my home in India, but also in my home here in America, it was devastating. We always talk about the future and how we want to take action for the future, but we also should be talking about now, what's happening right now. The people that suffered from Hurricane Dorian, the animals and the indigenous people in the Amazon rainforest, in the forest that's burning down in Africa that no one is talking about. There's so much going on right now that we also have to talk about. We're striking today to save tomorrow. Not to save life in 50 years, but to save tomorrow. I wanted for us to take a moment of silence for those affected by Hurricane Dorian, and for the animals and for the indigenous people, and everyone affected by the Amazon rainforest. I wanted us to just take a moment of silence for everything that's happening right now. Every single day, I look at the news, I look at my phone, and I see something terrible. I hear something terrible that's happening. And it gets worse and worse and worse every single day. And it hurts so much to see that my peers are accepting this fate. That we're accepting for us to die, for our generation to die. Because honestly, how can we accept our forthcoming deaths at this young age? How can we do that to ourselves? So we, the youth climate activists of this beautiful planet, are here to say that we refuse. We will not drown. We will not suffocate. We will not die at the hand of the greed of corporations. We refuse to be Generation Z because we refuse to be the last generation. Because frankly, we're not going to let that happen. We won't just survive, but we're going to thrive. And that doesn't just go for us, but that goes for our children, our grandchildren, and for our descendants to come. We're not going to let them suffer. perpetuating in this movement and in this world. Racism, patriarchy, colonialism, capitalism, ableism, so many things, so many different things. These systems are constantly oppressing people and oppressing every one of us differently. We need to stand up and fight back together. The government is perpetuating these systems. Corporations are perpetuating these systems, and that's why climate change, the climate crisis, is such a terrible, huge issue. It's crazy because we've gone. Climate change isn't a single issue. It includes immigration. It includes healthcare. It includes gun violence. It includes so many different issues that we talk about today. So I want you all to know, and I know that you all know because you all are here striking with us today, but I want everybody on the media to know, I want everybody to know that climate change is the biggest threat of our lives. The biggest threat. It touches every single issue that we talk about, and we all can connect to the climate crisis. That's why we need to take action. We need to work together. We need to hold corporations and greedy elected officials accountable. This is 0 hour to act on the climate crisis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadia. So next up, we will have Maddie, who will be giving a speech as well. Everyone give a round of applause to Maddie.
Hey everyone. So my name is... You gotta hold it really close. Hey everyone, so my name is Maddie Graham. I'm 16 years old. I'm with Fridays for Future DC and Sunrise Movement, and I have a confession to make. Sometimes I'm afraid. I am afraid to grow up in a world that sees the consequences of its actions but refuses to change. I am afraid to grow up in a world that knows that its actions harm the most vulnerable among it and still is blinded by greed. I am afraid to grow up in a world where a few weeks shy of my 17th birthday, I cannot remember the last time I felt like a child. Sometimes I am afraid. That is okay. Because I have one central belief that is stronger than my fear. I believe that we are going to win. Yeah. We are going to win because I believe that truth is stronger than lies and people are stronger than fear. Yeah. My fellow youth strikers, to my friends, my rocks, and my mentors, keep fighting. I know it's hard sometimes. I know it can be hard to keep going. I know it can seem like it is impossible to go on. But we have to because we are going to win. Any elected official who has the power to take action but refuses, to anyone who has the power to stop this crisis but will not, you will not know peace. You will not know peace today. You will not know peace tomorrow. You will never again know peace until you have taken action. You hear me, Mr. President? Because we are here now, and we are... Yes, we are here now, and we are not moving, and we will be your hell until you take action on this crisis. We are not moving. We're not going away.
Speak closer to the mic.
We are not moving. We are not going away until this crisis has been mitigated. And I think it can be because I see a better world. I see a better world in the face of everyone here. I see a better world in the eyes of every child that has been robbed of their childhood and refuses to let it happen to another child ever again. One day, I'm going to see all of you in that better world. But until then, here we stand united, and here we will stay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie.
These are all right.
So next up, we will have Jonah Gottlieb, who is the executive director of National Justice Campaign, has been doing some amazing work.
Yeah,
First of all, thank you all so much for being here. Members of the press, youth activists, adult mentors and allies, and our visitors from overseas. Thank you all for being here. This is sending a message to the entire world and to the entire establishment and to the entire system that is keeping us down and has caused this system of oppression and has caused this crisis. But they know now that we are coming for them. You are taking over. This is our country. This is our democracy. This is our planet. And we are here to stay. So I want to talk for a second about why I'm here. So I got involved in the climate justice movement in October of 2017 when wildfires devastated my community in Northern California. Yeah. I got involved. I spoke to my member of Congress and with his staff, and I told him exactly what needed to be done to stop this issue, because I know that for every community like mine who has the resources to recover from a natural disaster exacerbated by the climate crisis, there are dozens around the world who get no media attention, who get no support, and who are kept down. And I know that while so many people are able to bounce back and who are resilient, there are so many people who are suffering and are being kept down by this system, and it is our responsibility to fight with them and amplify their voices and take action alongside them so that we can have a fairer world for every single human being. I also know that this climate crisis is not just about natural disasters. It's the hurricanes, it's the floods, and it's the fires, and it's the droughts. But it's also what it does to you mentally. The feeling that you know that you might not have a future, and that we have 11 years before you can say goodbye to everything you know, because it could be too late. The feeling that you could be next, that another natural disaster could strike, and this time it could be your house that burns. This time it could be your house that is flooded. It's your community. It's your school. So I'd like to tell a little story. So I was in Washington, D.C. this January. And being from California, I'm not familiar with the phenomenon that a lot of you people call snow. And so it started to snow. And my friends and my first thought was, that's ash from a fire. We need to hold our breath. So for about 15 seconds, I held my breath on the streets of Washington, D.C. as the snow came down, because I thought that we were going to go under this disaster again. And I know that at my school, we now have fire days in the same way that schools across the country have snow days. They are built into our schedule because it's assumed that another fire will attack our community and will make it so that we cannot be in school. I also want to talk about how that so many people are suffering from terrible air pollution all around the country, specifically black and brown communities. And this is not getting the attention it deserves. There are so many people who are suffering not just from natural disasters, but from dirty air and dirty water, and there's more people who are profiting off of it. The corporations who are taking their big bonuses while they're neglecting our futures, while they're neglecting our lives, and while they're neglecting our present. The person in that Oval Office right over there. The climate denier in chief. He is making it so that an entire generation and the entire human race is not able to overcome this challenge. We need to vote, we need to march, we need to take action, and we need to show the world that the United States of America will be leading on this issue. So we will not doing a good job right now. And we will take action, and we will lead, and we will get through this crisis together. This is our opportunity as the human race to come together as one people and save the world in which we live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonah. So I would like to also bring up, we'd like to switch the mood in saying that there are activists that also express their activism through music and express their activism through many other means. So we'd like to also have Ella and then Claudia Sachs to do a guitar.
Let's give it up one more time for Jonah for that amazing story on his Normally when I strike on Fridays, we're about 10 to 15 people here. And I just want to say, looking out at all of your beautiful faces in the crowd, thank you so much for giving this movement the voices that it needs, because this is a crisis and we need to act like it. So your presence here makes it possible for our voices to be heard. Thank you so much. So, we didn't plan for a microphone, so Nadia is going to be my lovely microphone. Thank you. This is a song that I wrote about people like you who are taking action on the climate crisis and how we need to continue to do so if we want to have a livable future for our generations and for the generations that come after. This song is called Be the Change. What do you want to leave behind? What are we gonna be remembered for at the end of our lives? We only have one world and its future is at stake. So we have to make a change. Harder and it's not for debate. Plastics filling oceans and they're rising while we wait. Storms, fires and floods all seem more common every day. It's the world that we've created and the messes that we made. What do you want to leave behind? What are we gonna be remembered for at the end of our lives? We only have one world and the future is at stake. So we have to make a change. I am just one person, it's so easy to feel small. But each one of my actions has an impact on us all. If we can fight together, change won't take too long. Alone we may be quiet, but together we are strong. What do you want to leave behind? What are we gonna be remembered for at the end of our life? We only have one world and the future is at stake. So we have to make a change. Stand up for the air you breathe. Stand up for the swaying trees. Stand up when you're on your knees. The sun will rise and we'll be free. Stand up so the truth is known. This fake news has got to go. Climate change is all too real. Stand up so the earth can heal. What do you want to leave behind? What are we gonna protect for our grandchildren's lives? We all share one world and the future is at stake. So we have make a change. We have to be the change.
Up next, we'll have Claudia Sachs singing the climate change anthem. Yeah.
Do you want me to hold it for you? I can hold it for you.
Sign by.
Oh, okay. You I can hold it for you. I want to drop it on anyone.
My name is Claudia Sachs. I'm 16 years old from Richmond, Virginia, and this is a song I wrote called Future of Humanity. So I'm not going to use this mic, so if you're struggling to hear me, it means you need to sing the chorus just a little bit louder. Woo!
You put it in. You want me to put it in front of your guitar? No. No, put it in front of the voice.
Okay.
The beaches of Miami will be gone by 2060. The canals of Venice, Italy will be lost beneath the sea. The lights of New York City will be a distant memory. The beauty of our coral reefs will be covered in debris. We have to fight, we have to fight, we have to fight to save our earth. We have to fight, we have to fight, we have to fight so we can be the future of humanity. The California forests will be ash before we know it. The ice from the Arctic will flood your streets and markets. The summer days you used to love will be 100 and above. The plastic that you've always used has become turtle food. We have to fight, we have to fight, we have to fight to save our earth. We have to fight, we have to fight, we have to fight so we can be the future of humanity. Have you turned your back, letting the years go by, burning coal as you let things die? Well, the time has come to change our fate. We've got 10 years left. It's not too late. We have to fight. We have to fight to save our earth. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight so we can be the future of humanity. We stand here to school strike to continue this whole fight. We'll change the course of history and save humanity. Let me hear you. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight to save our earth. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight so we can be the future of humanity. One more time.
Oh, here we go.
Let it be it. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to
One more time, I gotta hear it so much louder. We
have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight to save our Earth. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight so we can be the future of humanity.
It is in times like this when she sings songs like that and we look around and see youth crying and adults crying and seeing how important this is, shows us how real this crisis is, shows that those politicians that are saying that this crisis does not exist are completely wrong. And that's why we stand here and strike every single Friday. So with that said, I would like to welcome to the stage Ethan Wright for his speech. He works at 0 Hour on as an advocacy director.
Hello all. It's very difficult to follow that up because I was sobbing my eyes out. I don't know about y'all. But just to introduce myself, I'm Ethan. I'm 19. I'm the advocacy director of 0 Hour. And I've been striking at my university asking it to divest from all fossil fuels. Before I get into this, I again want to acknowledge that we are on stolen land. We are here to honor those of our past, and we are here to honor those of our future. I want to bring also to the table that I also come from a place of privilege. My climate story is a lot different than those on the front lines, that those are affected and displaced because of the climate crisis. So again, I want to thank all of you for your bravery, your persistence, and your determination for a better future and a better today. I'm quite speechless right now. I think we all know who's here. I want to thank you, Greta, for coming here. I want to thank all of you for coming here. I think this is a pivotal moment in the climate movement, and I think we can all feel that energy here. It's in your gut. I don't know if you can feel it, because I feel it. It's in your gut, and it's telling you something's happening and something's going to change. So I want to kind of talk about this a little. I want you to all acknowledge that this is not normal what we have. The 6 mass extinction, the fires, the dead zones in the ocean, the extreme weather, the hurricanes, the fires, everything. This is not normal. This is not normal whatsoever. This is not normal. But I want you to acknowledge something else. That this right here is not normal. This is not a trend. This is not going to go away in the next month. This is a movement. This is a revolutionary movement. We are not going anywhere. I also want to acknowledge that almost every single movement that has ever been put in place has been on the front lines of women of color, of people. I want to call out my own demographic for them to pass the mic, for them to step aside and say, we need to put women of color, we need to put disabled people on the front of this movement. All right, a little next part. All right, here we go. Not the best transition. Here we go. All right, so I want to talk about something about how a livable future is not a partisan issue. A livable planet is not a partisan issue. It is the corrupt politicians, it is the fossil fuel billionaires that have turned this into a radical movement that is somehow deemed too extreme, too outlandish. Yes. I want you to all acknowledge that we are going to stay here, and if these politicians don't hear us, we will continue to strike, we will continue to yell, we will continue to vote, and we will continue and we will persist. Thank you. And we will do this until we were heard, until they take action, until we solve the climate crisis. And I want to lastly thank all of you for coming, and I want to thank all of the youth that are here today, because this is a youth-led movement. We are not going anywhere, and I am so glad to stand and work alongside all of you and make a difference and make a change. And I want to take this back, that this is not just a personal problem, this is an ecological problem, this is a racial problem, this is an immigration problem, this is a healthcare problem, and this is a planet problem. We are striking for today, we are striking for tomorrow, we are striking for the generations to come, but we are also striking for Mama Earth. She deserves this. She deserves this. And we need her. Mama Earth does not need us, but we need her to survive. So I ask all of you to take action, to yell, to make noise, to protest, to strike, to call your representatives, because we cannot sit idly by any longer. This is 0 hour to act on climate change, and Mama Earth deserves this.
Well, thank you all for your powerful speeches. We'll have a couple more soon. I know I seem a little bit overwhelmed, and that's because I am. I think it was Ella who mentioned we usually have 10 or 12 people come out to our strikes, and we've been striking since, well, I've been striking since December. The rest, and my friends have been striking with me all summer, and we've never seen a group like this. I have the great pleasure of introducing our leader here today, and that's Greta.
Well, I'm not going to have a speech. I think the previous speakers have already said everything. But I'm just going to say that I'm so incredibly grateful for every single one of you. And I'm so proud of you who have come here. And it's a lot of people, a lot more than I think anyone had expected. And I was in the back, so I didn't see anything but the nearest meter. So this is very overwhelming, and to just never give up. We will continue, and see you next week on September 20th.
We said when we came here with my friends that we would move as soon as the police told us to, and well, they're telling us to move now. So, we're gonna move back. That way. We're gonna go, we have more speeches if you're interested. We're gonna go back to where we were. You can go that way or that way. Either way, go ahead. Thank you all.
Wow, crying was not